One quiet Wisconsin neighbor's crimes reshaped horror movies forever. 5 small towns, 5 real Wisconsin legends, a ghost story rumored to have killed people, cryptid people still report seeing, a mansion that burned after lightning struck, with rumors that followed it for decades, a town that endured a documented period of hardship, and one farmhouse tied to a true crime that changed horror movies forever. Stay for all 5. Number 1 isn't just folklore. It's a real police case that inspired Psycho and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Number 5. Ridgeway. A peddler stops at a saloon in 1843. He never leaves. His horse does. It comes back to that saloon door for weeks, empty saddle, trying to push its way inside. That's how the Ridgeway ghost starts. For 40 years, people see it on the old road at night. It changes shape, sometimes a man with a whip, sometimes a headless rider, sometimes just a shadow that matches your steps in the dark. Most people just get a scare. According to old accounts, a farmer named John Lewis doesn't. The story goes that he meets the ghost walking home one night, after helping a neighbor butcher hogs. A neighbor supposedly finds him half-conscious inside a stone wall the next morning. He dies hours later. A local doctor claims he saw the ghost 3 times in his life. Old newspaper accounts say the 3rd sighting was followed by his death soon after. Nobody can verify the details today, but the story has survived for over a century. Local accounts say the sightings faded by the mid-1880s. The ghost remains part of local lore and community identity today, brought out every Halloween, laughed about in the daylight. Ask an old-timer if they'd walk that road alone at night, though. Watch how fast they stop smiling. That's one of Wisconsin's oldest ghost legends, rumored to have killed people. But the next town has something else entirely, something people still report seeing today. Number 4. Elkhorn. Bray Road looks like nothing. Flat farmland, a ditch, a tree line. The kind of road you drive past without noticing. Then a woman named Lori slows her car down one night in 1989. Something is kneeling in the grass off to the side. It turns and looks at her. 7 feet tall, covered in fur, standing on 2 legs. She can see the claws from the driver's seat. She hits the gas and doesn't look back. Others describe getting closer than they'd like. Some accounts describe a man watching something crouched over roadkill, standing up and running into the trees. Other reports describe claw marks left on a car door. A reporter named Linda Godfrey started collecting these accounts for a local paper in the late 1980s, expecting to debunk them. She never fully did. Witnesses kept coming forward, some of them decades apart, describing the same thing. One account describes a similar creature reported as far back as 1936, near an old burial mound. People blame wolves, bears with mange, big dogs. Whatever it is, reports of it keep surfacing on the same stretch of road. Year after year, decade after decade. Always at night, always gone before anyone gets close enough to be sure. Reports of that creature still circulate today.
In your opinion, based on these tracks, would you say it's a 4-legged creature or a 2-legged creature?
No, I'd say 2-legged creature.
But the next town has something else, something that once pulled a gun. Number 3, Land O'Lakes. According to the story the Lamont family told for years, they sit down for dinner one night. The house is quiet. Candles are lit. Then something steps out of the basement doorway. Tall, dark, silent, just watching them eat. Robert Lamont, the story goes, grabs his gun and fires twice. The bullet holes reportedly stayed in that door for years. By morning, according to the family's own account, they leave Summerwind Mansion for good. Lamont won't sell the house, though, so it sits empty for almost 40 years. Paint peeling, roof sagging. The next family who buys it lasts 6 months. According to local lore, the husband starts playing organ music every night, convinced it's the only thing keeping something at bay. A later owner writes a whole book, claiming the house is haunted by an old explorer, still searching for a lost land deed said to be buried under the floor. The house burned on June 19, 1988, and lightning is the commonly reported explanation. Some accounts at the time also raised a simpler possibility. Bored teenagers using the empty house and a fire that got out of hand. Just a stone foundation and 2 chimneys stand in the woods today. People still drive out just to look. Nobody stays long once the sun starts going down. One house, one fire. But the next town lost something bigger. It lost an entire decade. Number 2. Black River Falls. Between 1890 and 1900, Black River Falls faced severe economic and social hardship, documented in local newspapers and later county records. Among the examples reported from that period, a woman said to have set her own house on fire after hearing voices, and a schoolteacher arrested for smashing windows across the county while reportedly under the influence of cocaine. These are individual cases from the record, not the full explanation for what the town went through. The local paper reported much of it in a flat, calm voice, week after week. The nearby mines had shut down. Jobs disappeared. A diphtheria outbreak killed a number of local children. Historical accounts of the period cite a figure of roughly 1 resident in every 472 formally declared insane, a statistic drawn from records of that era and its asylum commitments, striking for a rural population that size. In 1973, a writer named Michael Lisi found thousands of old photographs from the town's own studio photographer, packed away and forgotten for decades. He paired them with newspaper accounts and records from the period into a book called Wisconsin Death Trip, which depicts a community facing severe hardship in the 1890s. It's still read today as one of the starkest portraits of that era in small-town American history. The town has paved roads now, a Walmart, but the old asylum files are still sitting in an archive somewhere, mostly untouched. Black River Falls endured a documented period of hardship, but the next town's story isn't folklore at all. It's a real criminal case. Number 1. Plainfield. On November 16, 1957, Bernice Worden was last seen at her Plainfield hardware store before she disappeared. Her son found the store empty later that day, with signs something was wrong. Investigators traced her last sale to a quiet farm on the edge of town. Everyone knew the man who lived there. His name was Ed Gein. He did odd jobs around town. A little strange, maybe, but harmless. Or so they thought. Police searched that farmhouse that night. What they found had no name yet in 1957. Human remains taken from local graves over several years, along with items made from human remains found throughout the house. Investigators tied Gein to Bernice Worden's murder, linked him to the earlier disappearance of Mary Hogan, and he confessed to robbing graves across the region for years. He was found mentally unfit to stand trial and spent most of the rest of his life in a state hospital. He said very little about it publicly again. Ed Gein's crimes went on to influence 3 of the most talked about horror films ever made. Psycho and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre are both widely and directly tied to his case. The Silence of the Lambs is commonly cited as drawing on it too. Almost none of what reaches the screen in any of them happened the way the movies show it. The farmhouse later burned before it could be auctioned, and the exact cause was never firmly established. Many locals still avoid the subject with strangers today. 5 Wisconsin towns, 5 different legends, from a rumored killer ghost to a true crime case that reshaped horror movies. All 5 stories are still told locally today, some as folklore, one as documented history. Next time someone says small-town Wisconsin is boring, ask if they've ever heard the full story of Plainfield.